journals and 7 research papers and book chapters in UGC referred journals. His laboratory for conservation and genetic improvement of forestry is funded by the State Forest Department, UGC and DST serve. So he has a well-known background of research in plant genetics as well as in ecological niche modeling. So thank you, participants. Now you will definitely benefited by this lecture, and this will be almost some theoretical or as well as some practical demonstration he will about to be give you. And now session is over to you, sir. Please welcome and enrich our participants. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Nasir, for welcoming me, and thank you, sir, Dr. Kaushal, sir, for this introduction. And through you, I would like to convey my greetings to the organizer and the administration of Banda Agricultural University, Banda University of Agricultural Technology. Thank you so much for arranging this workshop. And I'm glad to see all the participants are actually faculties, and they have been working in the field of forest science, plant science, wildlife, and many of them are senior to me. And we always expect from a young fellow that he would bring some kind of technical thing to make the things very easy. So here my role is like that only. As Dr. Kaushal sir has told that this presentation is going to be deal with the theoretical part. Mostly, I wanted to make it more tutorial based, and therefore I would like to request through the interaction, please ask me the questions, and I will explain the things how to do if the time will permit, and if the organizer will take the questions accordingly. So thank you so much once again, and I would like to start my presentation sharing my screen. And again, I would like to request to confirm whether this yeah, it is. Oh, I hope it is visible to you all.
Yes, yes, visible.
Yeah.
See, absolutely fine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Ecological niche modeling is not a new thing for now. Means modeling, it means of course it is something that which is highly dependent on the computational simulations, and most of the computational simulation in our plant science is limited to the regression analysis. So basically, this ecological niche modeling is also based on the regression analysis between the variables. Variables means those data which are coming as a real information or a projected information from these population of a species of interest, and also with the ecological conditions or niche characterization. So I would like to explain it how. Biodiversity conservation, when we talk about the biodiversity conservation, now it is known in general information what I'm presenting here. So basic threat, if you will consider for the biodiversity, why this conservation is needed. So we are having threat of climate change and pollution also, of course. Habitat fragmentation is being faced by many species. Many species are being rare now, going to that rarity. Alien species are there, invasive species are there, which are occupying the area of some important species more dominantly, even the faster than this actual rate of the succession. And because of human intervention, lots of species from the outside is being introduced in a forest area also. And because of some kind of calamity like forest fire and this kind of introduction of completely invasive species, habitat alteration is also there, and it is affecting not only at the level of the population but also at the level of the individuals. Trees or of many species are not good or fit to produce a reproductive fit filial generation. So these are kind of the threats which have been faced based on the by the population. And if you, I would like to categorize these all kind of threats, we can see in a very not in a very specific way, but in a very general way, that there are two kind of threats: intrinsic threat and extrinsic threat. Intrinsic threats are those which are actually directly related to the internal characteristics of an organism, an individual. Basically, we can say the fitness, how much it is having the adaptiveness, how much it is capable to adapt the changes surrounding it, whether it is the pressure, any kind of natural pressure, or any kind of artificial selection pressure. Second thing, how much it is fit to reproduce itself. How much it is fit to reproduce itself. Pollination success is there or not. Fertilization success is there or not. Seed is germinating proper way or not. Whether seed is getting all the optimum condition that is required for its germination on time. So these are some kind of thing that I categorize under the fitness of the individual. Second, which kind of pressures are being faced by a particular species. Natural, of course, natural selection is always there. Okay, some species are having resistance for a particular pathogen, some may not have. Even the individuals of the same species may vary in this kind of characteristics. So every individual, every organism face the natural selection pressure according to their own intrinsic characteristics. Apart from that, the very big or very dominating pressure is that artificial selection pressure. Now we are choosing the species only that we are finding as of potential benefit. Okay, and even if you'll see that even in the crops, not only in the forestry species, there are only only few species, species of the crops, even from the same family Graminy, if you say, only few species are there that are considered for all kind of trading or for utilization to feed the entire population. And similarly with the forestry species, if you go for the commercial importance of the forestry species and commercial importance also, and for the genetic improvement program, not in India, not more than 3 species we can count, although traditionally more than 100-200 species have been being utilized continuously. So artificial selection pressure, what it does, we are doing the selection very selectively based on our need, our character or desirable. Apart from that, pressure for this so-called development that is coming with the industrialization mainly, and forests are being converted for the non-forestry practices to make the infrastructure, to make the roads, bridges. Also, apart from that, we are having some protected areas also in which the species are actually being conserved with their natural environment. So these things are, I hope, very clear. How we can do the conservation of this biodiversity, means species level, at genetic level, at ecological level. So International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, they have already introduced one methodology which is a standard, which is actually related to some of the parameters that if you want to assess the conservation status of a species, we should do some investigation on the population demographic history, means in last 10 years. Invigilators. Invigilators, yes. Yeah, please contact to the office. Okay, I'm sorry, excuse me for that. Actually, we are conducting exam also today. See, so IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, we know that population, how much the reduction of the population have been faced in last 10 years. What is the area of occurrence and extent of occurrence, area of occupancy, whether the population is intending to increase its range through its very good fitness, means how the population is intended to recover itself, and also some kind of quantitative analysis related to the numbers, abundance, density, frequency, and genetic diversity parameters. So based on that, categories are there, and mainly we are conserving this biodiversity if the species is evaluated, and if the species is coming under this threatened category, then only we can assign this kind of categories to them. Majority of the species are not covered yet, and specifically if we'll count only the forestry species and the species which are found inside the forest in a natural condition in the wild, so we are trying to conserve it in the form of protected areas, national park, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, sacred goose, biodiversity hotspot region, wildlife sanctuaries, and similarly for access to conservation also, zoological park, botanical garden, gene bank, cryopreservation. So actually we have been doing a lot of things right now, but there are some serious questions that suppose if we are conserving the species in its natural niche, in the natural habitat, means in situ conservation, whether this particular site is going to be suitable always, or for incoming next 50 years it will remain suitable, next 100 years it will remain suitable for those species, or the population shifting may be there due to any kind of pressure. Because in present scenario, if you'll see the protected areas boundaries are completely fixed with a legal the boundaries are legal boundaries actually. Even for access to conservation, if you want to establish botanical garden, gene bank, germ plasm bank, any kind of conservatory, whether that particular site, the place is going to be suitable for the species. If you are we are establishing arboretum, how many species may have that ability to grow with each other? And suppose if you are doing monoculture also, whether that particular place is going to be suitable. Suitability is not only limited to the survival. Suitability is also concerning to the entire productivity, means entire phenological cycle. Without changing the phenological cycle, without changing the productivity of the forest, the or potential growth that we actually expect from a species, whether it is performing with the same ecological condition or environmental condition in the particular site which is chosen for its conservation or not. So these are the some basic questions. First thing, how much climate is going to affect the species and its distribution area? Because if you might have heard about the impact of the climate change, it is not equal to for all the places. Some places of the entire planet, those places are going to face increase in the temperature, and some decrease in the temperature. Precipitation is having a different kind of random change may be there, and it has been observed. It is not a kind of prediction I'm saying. In last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if we'll observe all the data that we have recorded, we will find that seasonal changes are there, and many places where earlier there were very clear season for the 4 months in a year, for winter, summer, and rainy season. Now anytime rain can occur. So how this change is going to affect the population, whether, as I said, the present niche or habitat occupied by the species is going to be suitable for that. There are many environmental parameters. If you'll see the climate is aggregate of all kind of environmental parameter, the state of the environmental parameters for a particular place, and for a duration of a time of 30 years. So how many factors are there? These are actually correlated with this entire biology of a species. It means temperature is having some effect or precipitation or temperature of a particular season. For example, Shoria robusta, it is known that after 1 week of the seed falling, if it is not getting rain within a 1 week, it fails to germinate. It means if the rain of the June, this monsoon rain is shifted for 15 days, it is going to directly affect the adaptive fitness or reproductive fitness of the population of Shoria robusta. So these kind of changes are very common. So which factor is this? Apart from that, if any factor we could identify, whether temperature or rainfall, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, whether these conditions are going to positively influence the population to thrive well and distribute in a very extended way, and whether these are going to be a limiting factor for that. For example, teak is found in most part of India, but it is frost sensitive. So the area which are having temperature of more less than 8 degrees Celsius, rarely you will find teak there in a natural way. Even in some places, teak is being introduced. It is not growing in its optimum potential. Apart from that, those areas which have already been occupied very well by the plantations, by the natural forest of many species, whether those areas going to be shrink in the future or it is going to spread further. It means the area of suitability for those species are going to minimize or going to be rare in the future, or whether more niches or more area on this planet are going to be suitable for that particular species, and it is having a direct impact on the economic benefit that we may get from the species. For example, all pulp and paper industries, basically they are dependent on eucalyptus trees. So whether this coming future climate change condition is going to support that population or going to act as a limiting factor for the population. So how much economic loss we can actually have, or we can gain how much economic benefit, so that can also be predicted. So we can predict it, of course, because as I said that in regression analysis, if you are able to develop the regression equation and probability distribution is known, then definitely we can do some possible predictions. So the all if you are having the data, as I said, are past, the present, then of course we can predict the future. So out of 3, if you are having the information of at least 2 variables, so we this ecological niche modeling actually gives a support to predict the third one. So before starting about the ecological niche modeling, how we perform, there is a need to understand the ecological niche. By the way, in ecology, we have already studied that niche is defined as the habitat, means a kind of locality, area that is occupied by a species. So if we want, if I'm going to characterize it and see the how it is defined by various people at various time, Grenalia actually focused on basically Grenalian niche. It means covering all the abiotic factors which are responsible for the species persistent and reproduce. So one concept came earlier that the niche is actually about the abiotic factors only. So abiotic factor is not only about the light condition, temperature, rainfall, adipic factor or soil condition, also about the seasonality of this, means when this direction of the wind also, and if we integrate these all factors and their occurrence with the phenology of a species, we can better understand at what season, what are the factors, abiotic factors, which are causing actually are helping on flowering, on fruiting, on seed dispersal also, and later the germination also, and establishment of a tree itself. So abiotic factor was discussed by the Grenalia. Eltonia also involved the concept of the community. It means biotic factors are also responsible to decide the niche of a species. It means, see, every species in a one or another way, they are dependent to any other species only for their food. Okay, so apart from the plant also takes some kind of organic nutrient, which is a result of the decomposition of the life forms only. So every species for community relationship, if we'll consider like communism, like mutualism, parasitism, they are completely dependent to each another. Apart from that, we studied very well about the successions, that there is a hierarchy also for the dominance of a species in a particular space, and hence they live together with a community characterization that can be characterized with a proper community. For example, teak or many family of the Lamiaceae trees, they do not allow many other families species to grow beneath their canopy. This is some kind of allelopathy effect may be there. So anyhow, community is also a factor that decide the niche. Hutchinson later give the concept that there are two kind of niche. One is a fundamental niche that is that combines abiotic and biotic requirements of a species. Apart from that, realized niche means there are some kind of competition he was discussing about, competition of this species by the other species or pressure from the other species. And we might have observed that kind of example, that that realized niche are the niche which a species is preferring after the competition pressure from the other species. Suppose there is a big forest with a very good biodiversity and we are introducing lantana camera there. So lantana species is very invasive and definitely it will try to dominate many places or site of the other species. It may check also the regeneration of the species, native species also, and later native species will string to a particular place. So Hutchinson gives the concept of that realized niche. And the latest, the Soberson and Peterson framework is introduced, and it is also discussed that actually the niche occupied by a particular species, apart from the biotic factors, abiotic factors, their community interactions, it is also influenced by the geographical barriers as well. Means how these species are migrating from one place to another. For animals, of course, the things are related to this framework are very dynamic, the information, because where they are migrating. But but now through the very good studies from the wildlife, we could understand that their migration is also not very random, and that can be tracked and mapped very properly, and whether birds or animals, they follow a particular path. For the plants, migration is also about the dispersal of pollen and seeds, means the gene flow. And through the help of molecular marker, we could also know and realize that these migrations in the form of gene flow is also restricted by the geographical barriers. Sometimes the hills, valley, river, and ocean boundaries also influence the distribution pattern of the species and its niche also. So niche have been defined with in a that a place which may provide an optimum condition for the growth, reproduction, and survival of the species. So in practice, this information is actually very important, because in biodiversity conservation, this is conservation efforts, these informations that I'm discussing right now has been utilized. How we could know that which are the, or which is the optimum condition, climatic condition or environmental condition for optimum growth, optimum reproduction of a species. So we know that we perform that common garden experiments. We perform common garden experiment. We collect the germplasm of a particular species from various places of its occurrence, its natural distribution, and we try to plant it in a particular place so that we can homogenize the environmental condition and can see that which among the other all the germplasm collected is going to perform at best at that particular environment. So common garden test is there, and a multi-locational trial is also done to check the combination of the genetic and environmental effects, which genotype and is preferring which environment. So field survey, apart from that, biogeographical studies started by Humboldt before the Darwin, and it can also be mapped that every species is having some fixed area of their distribution, and apart outside of that area particular region they are not found. So there is one scope is there always to make a distribution map of any species with help of the real data of their occurrence. So the problem is that with traditionally these informations are already available, methodologies are already available, and because these are very real, it requires that real data gathering requires a lot of time. For agricultural crops, when we can get at least 2 generations in a year, it may be easier than the forestry species. Many times it is said that it is very difficult to work on the forestry species because it is having a very long age or long lifespan, and therefore if somebody wants to work on it, it's not very easy to go for the next generation or second filter generation. But there is an advantage also. Just like the crops, the information that we generate from the crop through their planting, it's a very dynamic. It means whatever information related to the biology of the crop or any association it with environment, climatic condition, or any adaptive factor or any kind of information will also be the very dynamic. Means it is subject to change after 6 months, and once that crop is harvested, okay, it will not be stable. So so many people are required to work on it in a very gradual and continuous manner to track the record. But unlike these crops, forestries are having that advantage. Once we are gathering any information and about the species, it's a fitness, it's a population that will remain stable for a long time. It means there is a disadvantage also, advantage also, even for the prediction that we can do. Suppose any species we are choosing that is going to perform well in the future, or a particular site for that species that we are choosing going to be suitable for that species, that information will remain stable for a long time. And even 50 years or 100 years are enough to change the entire geopolitics and economics and commerce and trade of any particular region, country, continents. So working in that aspect for the forestry species are actually having more critical importance. See, as based on this information, how we are utilizing it, the entire world have been divided in biogeographical regions based on the composition of the flora and fauna. Okay, so apart from that, in India, agricultural research is being carried out defining agroclimatic regions in India. In Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, also up in every state. Apart from the 13 or 15 now updated information is the 15 agroclimatic zones have been defined in India. So in 15 agroclimatic zones, apart from that, there are sub-agroclimatic zones or regions have been defined inside state boundaries as well. Similarly, based on the environmental conditions, mean temperature, rainfall, and vegetation composition, means all the concept which helps to categorize the biogeographical region of the world and agroclimatic regions in India. The forest types of India has also been classified, and subtypes are also there. So actually, with this real information, I wanted to say distribution mapping has already been there. And with our common garden test or multi-locational trials, we are already trying to get that information that which area is suitable, which climate is suitable, or which species is performing well in a particular environment. So here, what is the role of climatic modeling? Climatic modeling, as if we are doing some analysis with our pen or paper, it may take time, but if you are dealing with a very huge data, of course, we need some kind of computational analysis. So the concept of climatic modeling that was introduced, actually, it is helping on it. I would like to share this information. You might be knowing that 2021's Nobel Prize was given to Shokuro Manabe, Klaus Hasselmann, Giorgio Parisi for their climatic modeling that they introduced. And this climatic model actually helped UNFCCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, to do some kind of projection based on the present scenario, how the global warming is there, how the concentration of carbon dioxide is increasing, how the temperature is facing random change throughout the planet, and average mean temperature of the planet may change. So whatever information we get that by this year, this particular city is going to be synced or drawn inside the ocean, and this much of forest we are going to lose, this much poverty will increase, this much of the crops are going to be influenced, their productivity will decrease. So these are all kind of projections are a result of the climatic model or physical modeling of this earth climate, introduced not only introduced but the practice by these three gentlemen. And the basic thing that I would like to explain, that we know about this latitude and longitude, our entire planet earth, just for sake of the positional information, has been divided in latitudes and longitudes. Some years ago we were studying there are 180 lines of the latitudes and 360 longitude, but now with help of this physical computational modeling, every point kind of things on planet can be considered as a grid. So we are having infinite number of latitude information and infinite number of the longitudinal information. And apart from that, it is not limited to latitude and longitude. This information, if is supplemented by many other information, like how is the atmospheric condition is there, what is the condition of the geology, and what is the solar radiation status in a particular place, how the weather is changing. So just if you are knowing the particular GPS coordinate or latitude longitude information of a particular point of this planet, we can gather all these associated information just on a particular click. So this was a very big contribution by these gentlemen. This contribution, as I said, that there are a lot of parameters, environmental parameters that can be considered as a climate. But what are actually parameters that are having more influence on the other things? Like, for example, whenever there is a talk about the climate change, people say about the rising concentration of the carbon dioxide. Why not the other factors? In the same way, when IPCC Intergovernment Panel on Climate Change, they started doing modeling, and so they had to introduce one hypothesis first. What is the real condition? How the condition of this concentration, carbon dioxide concentration, has been increasing since last 100 years, and now it has been reached more than 350 parts per million. So what will happen with this planet if this will continue to increase up to year 2100? Okay, so how the changes will be there? So that's why they have given one representative concentration pathway models, which is called RCP 2.6. Here I'm showing it. Here these are the situation with that condition when the representative concentration pathway means the carbon dioxide concentration is going to be zero, and here RCP 8.5, where the continuous rise at present rate by the year 2100. In both of these conditions, how the change will be there on the average surface temperature of the planet and the average precipitation. So this model 1 is completely the current one. Based on the current scenario, it is predicted. Second, negotiations are going on. So every country is now following some kind of rate for cutting their emission of carbon dioxide in near future. So if that will be effective, then how the things will be there by the year 2020, 2100. So this RCP 2.6, RCP 8.5 is about that hypothetical projection based on some of the hypothesis, and that came from the data, the present data. So actually the present data is helping for this kind of projection. This climatic projection, how much these are this actually works, and how these are going to be helpful for the ecological forecasting. See, now the entire planet, our Earth, are having lots of satellites. So based on the satellites, and especially the remote sensing satellites, in India we are having that Indian remote sensing satellites, very powerful, but that MODIS sensor is being used for now at present. It is being used for the forest survey also. So we can have the information of entire land cover. We can also have the information of the topography, vegetation structure. Some countries have been working with some of the with few specific radars for the identification of the species. So those forests which are dominated by some pure kind of forest or particular species, like Central India, teak forest is there, sal forest is there, bamboo forest is there in Northeast India. So that can be identified easily. Mixed forests also, the works are going on. If we are knowing or are able to identify a particular patch of the forest, definitely we can analyze some kind of other information, like what is the productivity, what is the mean annual increment of that forest, how much carbon stock is there. So based on that, we can actually indirectly know about the other productivity data and phenological data. Soil data, world soil data is also being assessed for some of the physical, chemical, biological properties. So if we are knowing a particular patch or point on the planet, we can know about some of the soil data or characteristics related to the soil properties as well. So we are having lots of data, and how we can do it now. If we want to do the earth system modeling, we are having options that we can determine the species distribution. It means not only where the species are found, the chances where the species could be found. It means if some species are rare, and if you want to know whether there is any chance of that species that it can be found in a particular place, we can do this modeling, and later we can visit that place and determine the availability or presence of that particular species. Also, this is sometimes we get the data from the herbarium and as a form of old records, and later we can confirm whether those are actually available in particular place or not. So based on the basic data that we could collect from the Earth by observatory, now we are having modeling option for ecological forecasting, not only niche modeling, also the ocean modeling, the modeling of the entire ecosystem, modeling for the population and habitat viability assessment, biogeographical modeling, and some of the models in a blue I have written is actually, these are the name of these models that can be noted for your references. So these predictions are not limited to the sites only, productivity also, land cover change also, and which kind of observation data we are having, that will decide the accuracy of our prediction, and also the scope and application of the predictions. So based on this kind of predictions, two agencies which actually support the IPCC also for their projection, CSIRO in Australia and Center for Climate Research Japan, they there are 4 scenarios, means how the condition or climatic situations are going to change. So basically, these are the hypotheses in the base of whether the nations or the countries are going to restrict their carbon emission in the future, that will be coming to the zero, or the things will go just like it is going on right now in the future as well. So based on this both kind of scenario, these agencies like CSIRO and MIROC-H is a name for Center for Climate Research Japan. They have given some kind of data for past also, the present condition also, and future also. In past, it means the 30 years data from 1961 to 1990 and year, if you say the year for 2030, 2050, 2070, 2080, 2090, 2100. Apart from that, we are having now data available for 10,000 year before, during the event of last glacial maxima, the LGM, means last time when that ice ages came, that time some bioclimatic variables could be determined based on the studies. If that ice crystals have observed some of the gas molecules of that time, and today some kind of investigation of Antarctic, it was found that those molecules or those atoms of the gases or atmospheric gases remain unstable since long. It was sampled by the scientists, and through that they tried to determine the environmental conditions of 10,000 years ago. So we are having now lots of data which can easily be accessed and downloaded for our own analysis in various format. Here, like ISRI format, which is suitable to ArcGIS and ADAS imaging softwares, and AS to this kind of these are just the format of the files. So the only thing, we are having past data also, present data also, and future data also. So I have discussed that how the distribution map is already there, and based on that we have made some kind of distribution map. Also that some kind of climatic data based on some projection and hypothesis are already there for past, present, and future. So now the species of interest that we want to work on, actually we just need to know where it is found. Means the species occurrence data, which is called that real occurrence data or present data. So if you see that, if we are able to do some kind of investigation through the assessing the herbarium files, herbarium records, where the information of the availability of that particular sample of a particular species is there, or we are having our own data that we are visiting many forest areas and trying to get the GPS information of the presence of the data in a particular points. So that with that we can actually make a model, because in my previous slide, when I was showing that every point on this planet Earth has been now mapped properly with a latitude and longitudinal information. So the shape file or the data file or distribution map which comes nowadays, which is available for this kind of analysis, we just need to give the information of where these species are available, the points. Okay, there are another kind of modeling. Maybe some species are very dominating, we are widespread, but some specific area are there where they are not available. So we can also give the absence data. These are the place at no condition the particular species are found. Okay, so presence or absence data is a kind of one variable. Applying this one variable, we can apply some kind of location information also, for example soil characteristics also, and time also. Time, it means which data we want to integrate. We are observing at the present, and now if we are integrating it, the information in a regression analysis with the past data, means the data which climatic data, climatic condition which was there 30 years ago. So we can know that how was the condition of the population of this species before 30 years. And if we are integrating the future conditions, we can know that how it is going to change. So we can have, based on our present observation, whether it is a real occurrence data or we are getting it from any kind of herbarium. Yes. Oh.
Dr. Arbind,
Yeah,
please
please
mute yourself. Dr. Arbind.
Yeah, thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir, you carry on, sir.
Yeah. And so so the only last thing that after having this information for the regression analysis, because of very large data that that of course obviously is going to be handled, we need some computational simulation or model for that. What is the basis for that prediction? So this is a kind of framework for ecological niche modeling. I would like to suggest to correlate it with the last presentation slide that I was showing about the actual niche of a species. Suppose we are observing this occurrence data of the species. So occurrence data, if we are getting what are the things that can be done with occurrence data? So definition, we can identify the spatial uncertainty. Some occurrence also may be accurate. Spatial autocorrelation we can do, and environmental filtering we can do. Identification of sampling bias we can do. What are these things I am telling you? See, if it's in general, I would like to make you think that if you are finding a tree of lychee is a fruit tree. If you are finding in your premise, that itself, the availability, and it is giving the fruits in a profuse way and properly, all the seasonal phenology, it is maintaining very proper. So you may indirectly conclude that particular place is actually very suitable for that species, that fruit tree. So occurrence data itself actually provides information of the ecological niche. But one limitation is there. It is not only limited to that. Maybe the same species is 100 kilometers far from that place and it is also performing well. But at that place, the environmental conditions are different. The phenology may be different. So this time, the niche will have to be defined or characterized taking the environmental condition of both of the places. Means we can now say that actually this species perform well in a temperature range of this, minimum either this or to maximum this. In a similar way, we can have lots of other environmental parameters. So with more number of the occurrence data, actually we can define and characterize the niche of a species in a better way. Apart from that, suppose any species population you are finding in a particular place in a big numbers, and through the demographic history, you have already confirmed that no anthropogenic pressure was there. It means no influence of a human intervention was there. And in a different biogeographical region, suppose any tree species we are observing in the Rajasthan and the same species we are observing in Maharashtra, the number of the individuals in the population are different. The population density is different. The frequency of the population of that particular species in a different patches of that population are different. What it denotes? It denotes that the larger, if we are finding larger population with a very good fitness, we would say that this niche or the area is actually more suitable for that species. And that particular area where the lots of patches are there within the population, fragmentation are there, and species are not performing well, actually these conditions, the environmental or climatic conditions of that particular area is no more suitable for that species. So the same kind of logic is being used in the modeling also. If we are sampling with a proper method, that equal number of points we are having to represent our occurrence data. So this entire modeling will focus only on the characterization of the niche based on the bioclimatic variables. If at some place the occurrence data we are giving is out numbers, not in a similar number. Some place we are giving 10 individuals are there, sometimes in for some place 5, for some place 3. So that information also contribute to the modeling prediction, and sometimes they some kind of biasness they cause. So occurrence data, if we are having, and we are designing the experiment in a proper way, our parameterization is a proper, then with integration of the environmental data, we can do a better prediction through the ecological niche modeling algorithm. Okay, so what is the algorithm? I'm going to explain not in detail, but in a very practical way. So basically, if you want to perform the ecological niche modeling, we need 3 basic things. Occurrence data, where the species is present, but not where it is absent. Why? Because if your species is, you are having GPS coordinate of 50, 70, 80, 100, 200 coordinates you are having. So rest of the coordinates of which are actually infinite, that species is absent. So instead of collecting data for 30,000, 40,000, 60,000 points, it's a quite easier to collect the data of the present only for a particular places only. Not big data is required. And everybody now latitude, longitude data has been collected with the help of GPS machine, and that is very common. And now in our mobile phone also we can have that GPS information, latitude, longitude information of any particular location. So I hope that everybody is using it. Second, we need a distribution map. Here we require some GIS kind of software. Many GIS softwares are freely available, like Diva GIS, QGIS. But there are some software which are paid also, and the license fee is very high, like ArcGIS, IDAS Imagine. So basically, which kind of data they require? GIS software is available, then the shape files. It means we need some kind of the shape file for map of our area of study, of entire planet, entire biogeographical region, entire country, which actually are showing the some kind of spatial information that is relevant to our study. If you want to correlate the how elevation or the hills are going to restrict the distribution of a population, we should have that elevation based shape file for that particular reason. If you want to show that how the water bodies or rivers are going to affect, or actually they are affecting the distribution of a species, we should have the distribution map of the water with the water bodies as well. So that remote sensing part is not, it is not a complete remote sensing. GIS software is also essential. Third is the climatic data, which are actually based on the projection for past, present, and future scenarios. See, there are now many platforms. Climond is one platform which is being maintained by the CSIRO Water Resource Department, and the screenshot of that I was showing to you. We can have the 35 bioclimatic variables data for past, last. LGM, I have written LCM, last glacial maxima 1970, and present 2000 to 2030, and future 2000 for the year 2050, 2070, 2100. Similarly, world climate is also one resource from where we can get the data based on the 19 bioclimatic variables. So actually, what are those 35 or 19 bioclimatic variables? The basic variable are same, like minimum temperature, maximum temperature, temperature range, precipitation or the rainfall, and the rainfall isothermality. And based on the combination of these, others variables are there, like humidity and maximum temperature of the warmest month, minimum temperature of the warmest month, maximum temperature of the coldest month, minimum temperature of the coldest month, and average rainfall of the first quarter, then second quarter of the year, third quarter of the year. In such a way, there are characterization, because whatever condition would be there throughout the year, but suppose any tree species, how they get the information of the season. So they get the information of the season based on the this bioclimatic conditions. Suppose temperature is increasing, the temperature that we were having in the month of May, now we are getting in month of April. So of course the phenological shifting is there, temporal variation in the phenology will be there. So basically what was the annual mean temperature is not a matter of much influence on tree species or plant species, but the climatic or environmental condition at the time of their phenological event is more important. That's why these all 35 bioclimatic variables or 19 bioclimatic variables are defined very well. So these all information are also available. What we do with all this information, so we actually do model simulation software help we have to take now, which are called actually niche modeling softwares. So based on the regression analysis and probability distribution, the statistics, there are some models for the this ecological niche modeling. The software or the model which are based on the likelihood. Okay, so likelihood distribution and the simple regression analysis. Regression are simple and multiplex. Simple, it means there are only two variables, and multiple regression, it means more than two variables are there. So every time when I say simple regression, it means I'm talking about the two variables. One is the occurrence data and second is the bioclimatic variable data. So if simple regression is there without adjusting any kind of biasness, any kind of randomization, any kind of other information, so there are some bioclim and other packages are there based on that model. Second, maximum entropy model. Maximum entropy model suggests that it actually in practical avoids any kind of noise which are coming because of the data. So it is having one option in this model that few of your real occurrence data you can run as a for the projection, and few of your real occurrence data, maybe 10% of that or 20% of that, you can give as an input for the confirmation of the model projection. So software itself first performs a projection, a prediction based on 80% of your data, and later it try to impose the result on the based on the 20% of the real occurrence data to cross verify it. So this is done in Maxent software, which is there with maximum entropy model. Apart from that, just because I'm giving this workshop, this training and tutorial for Maxent, I'm focusing more on it. Otherwise, lots of softwares nowadays are available with R packages also. ArcGIS software, which is a very paid software, they are coming with some add-in modules for the ecological niche modeling. So the things are now in a practice. In this screenshot, I am sharing that actually how we collect the data. This is a screenshot of my Excel sheet when I collected the data for Tectona grandis. So all 3 column information is required. 1 column is full of the same name of the species. DD long means longitude. This is the actually command DD space LAT for the latitude. And only longitude latitude in a decimal format is required, not in that degree minute para format. And as I have already discussed, which kind of bioclimatic variables are those. So bioclim 1, 2, 3 up to 35 you can get. So these are actually annual mean temperature, mean diurnal range, isothermality, you can see temperature, seasonality, maximum temperature of the warmest month, as I was saying. So once we know the GPS coordinate, we can easily gather this kind of information. Now the third one is a screenshot of that Maxent program, which is a Java based program. If you are having that Java software installed on your computer, you can install it. This is a package, not a software. So it's not having much memory, only within 1 MB, all the documents can be kept. And we just have to upload this data here. We will click the browse and this file here, and this environmental layers data here for a particular year. And apart from that, we are having some settings to do the replications, to cross verify, and to choose the output file format, so that in other GIS software the result can be open as a map, and also changing in area can be measured, and response curve also, and prediction pictures also. So this kind of things are there, and just in a one click we can run it based on the simulation that we will apply. 50,000, 1 lakh, it may take sometimes time for entire day also, based on the speed of your computer. So basically for me, when I do it with 1 lakh simulation, it takes 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours to complete the run with a sample of some 100 coordinates. I have not performed more than that. I think 200 coordinates I have performed, because the species of interest are having that points of occurrence only. So what is the application of this ecological niche modeling? I have given some screenshot of some of the papers, like predicting species geographical distribution based on ecological modeling, predicting species invasion using ecological niche modeling. How, suppose Parthenium is a threat on many cropland and the forest land also. So how the changing climatic condition is going to influence it, whether this condition are going to be more suitable for them or not suitable for them. So if it is going to suitable specifically in the adjacent area of its present distribution, so we'll have to do some proper management, otherwise definitely naturally the area will extend. Adaptive fitness of the species, where the species is able to adopt the limiting factors which are coming because of the climate change. Okay. Second, conservation priority area. Can we choose a conservation priority area for particular species in the future? Okay. So phylogeography also can be studied with that. So it is not limited to species distribution, invasion, adaptive fitness, conservation priority area, evolutionary history also, and limiting bioclimatic variables. See, this is only I'm focusing only on the conservation. That's why with two questions I'm giving this presentation. First, how we can predict or determine or estimate the suitable area for the particular species. So, and what kind of population the threat population may face, and what can be the factors, environmental parameters that are going to influence the population, whether they are going to act as a limiting factor or supporting factor. So with 2-3 questions actually I started dealing this. But if we will start considering the previous data also, means the past data also, we can also have some ideas about the speciation in the species. Suppose natural hybridization in speciation is a very common in oak species. So based on the area of occurrence at the present, we can determine the past area of occurrence, whether they were together and later the species was means bifurcated. Means if we talk about the speciation, we can have some knowledge. What are the chances of the hybridization of the species? If they are having a common area in the past, no, different area in the past, but now they are in the future, at present they are living in a common area, it means some kind of hybridization was there and was successful. So earlier, two different locations, two different populations were there, two different species might be there, but today they are one species. So eventually in the mid of this evolution, hybridization might be there. So speciation and hybridization may also be predicted. These are some of the results now I'm sharing as an application of my own work. I performed this prediction on teak, and it was found that most of the parts means the central India is going to be always more suitable in future also for the teak, and not much significant changes there. Red is showing the most suitable and yellow is the least suitable here. and we can find that not much changes there. So teak will have that kind of suitable condition. It will remain up to 2050. Apart from that, now it is also showing that this area I had not included in my studies, but when I did the projection on the entire map, I found that the suitable area for teak is shown in the African continents, American continents also, and if, in future also it will remain there with some increased suitable condition. What it shows? It shows that either this teak is found there or these areas are suitable to introduce there. So this kind of modeling is actually play a very important role for the decision making for the trade also, and for introduction of the species as an exotic to another country. So of course now we know for information that yes, in Southern America and South America and African continent, teak is already introduced, and here in Europe it has been tried so many times, but in the rare instance only teak could be successful, and in modeling also it is shown that no area is suitable in this European side. Similarly, if I integrated that marker information for the signature of adaptive fitness with the environmental parameters, and I found genetically minimum temperature is having a very high influence in the signature of adaptation on the teak genome, and this was similarly predicted by the ecological niche modeling when we perform this effect of this different maximum temperature, minimum temperature, temperature range, and mean annual precipitation on the population of the species. We found, for example, maximum temperature, it means up to reaching this maximum temperature, it means it is coming between 40 to 45, and after that it is stable. It means there is no change in that species population distribution. So even the temperature is increasing more than 45 up to that 55, no problem would be there. And here temperature, minimum temperature, if you see that minimum temperature is coming less than 15 degrees Celsius up to here, so any kind of differences may be there in the population. Similarly, it can be interpreted on Cephalus imaginators. When we perform, these dots are representing the population that we actually sampled, and we wanted to see that how this climate change is going to affect these particular locations where these species are found. And we found that you can see that in the Maharashtra, in future that area going to be suitable, and in central India also the area of occupants we found, and we calculated the area also, it is going to be more suitable. But in another,
sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Vishnu, Dr.
Yes.
Vivek. We
Yes.
are running out of time, so.
Oh, I'm
you
very
can
sorry.
just
I'm very
skip,
sorry.
some.
Yeah. So these
Conclude that.
applications. Yeah. Thank you so much for reminding me. Actually, I was in just a flow and forgot that. So similarly, we performed that area, and yes, and for Bundelkhand region, Banda is there. I tried to perform some 2-3 years back. This kind of Bundelkhand is known for that drought and dry area, and through population modeling, we can identify some suitable agroforestry species, which are the species which are suitable, and from where we can plant to which place. This was also determined, and I also did some study, and based on the vegetation composition and economical benefit, I listed some of the species. So these are the applications which is not limited, as I said, to species distribution only. It conservation priority area, we can know habitat suitability, we can. The only thing we'll have to take care of the 2-3 things. We need to focus more on the real occurrence data, and model suitability should be checked through the statistical information that is generated by the software, so that any kind of false discovery can be avoided. So it is all about my presentation. Thank you so much, and I'm open for the questions and any kind of interaction is there.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek. it was really a great lecture. I would say that it was, I have read this subject during my graduation, and I found it really interesting. That I found it like a brainstorming session for me. I revised a whole, this subject in. So with this, I would ask the participant, please ask questions if you have any question. Although we are running out of time, but we still have 2-3 minutes, so we can ask questions. We do have some question in the chat box also. So meanwhile, we can read out that questions and. Okay, I think there is no question from the participant, so I will read out the question from the chat box, sir. Sir, first question is, it is about how much is the accuracy we generally get in ecological forecasting?
It depends on how much data we are having. I tried suppose for teak that I am showing you, I applied it with 290 GPS coordinate, and I am getting highly accurate data, because accuracy that we are predicting for the future, how we will have to see and watch how the change is there. Actually, if you are predicting for 2100, so best way to predict it, remove some of the data from your input data. So 290, no, you can do the projection with 100 and see in the result whether the other 190 points are being shown as a suitable area or not. That actually I was telling. So this way we confirm that when we decrease the data less than 30, then that projection means start unstable. Apart from that, our sample, our occurrence data should represent the actual population of the species in a very homogeneous way.
Right, sir. Absolutely right. So the next question is from Dr. Arbind Gupta, that sometimes AUC score is too low to predict habitat suitability indices. What could be the practical issues?
Two things are there that I have been discussing continuously. First, please take help of grid sampling method, so that your points are actually not representing the meta population in a very accurate way. From some location you have taken, so suppose 5-6 trees you are getting, so you are taking GPS coordinate from all, and from 3-4 locations are there, you are giving data of 111 GPS coordinates only. So based on the grid sampling, as I said, population representation should be homogeneous. Second thing, number of coordinates also matters. As I said, if less number of 30, 20 only is there, so present data is very less in compared to the absence data. Okay. Third thing that you can do, the modeling projection can be done for the small area then. So if you are having the already distribution information of the population, that will be suitable.
Right, sir. Right. So that was all about the question in the chat box. Any more question from the participant side?
Hello, Dr. Vaishnav.
Yes, sir.
I'm Ashok from CSR.
Yes, sir. Please.
तो पहले तो बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव लेक्चर था, बहुत बढ़िया लगा आपको सुन के।
जी शुक्रिया।
मेरे 2-3 क्वेश्चन है सर, आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा। एक पहला क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ इकोलॉजिकल निश मॉडलिंग इन फॉरेस्ट मैनेजमेंट? इसका कोई पर्टिकुलर रूल?
Yeah. See, forest management is basically maintaining the forest in a sustainable way, and we do all kind of data generation in the management. The main motto is the sustainability. Means we will convert the abnormal forest to the normal forest. This is the object and main function of the forest management studies. So how the productivity of, if we are able to determine how the population is going to affect with the climate change, it means size of the population. Yes. Size of the population, it means the volume or the biomass, and volume and biomass means the yield also, and the productivity also. So forest, actually this all benefit is a part of forest management only. Everything that, not only conservation means you will deal with the presence of the species germ class should be preserved. Management, it means how much we are able to get the potential benefit in that sustainable way. So that benefit we can determine.
अच्छा, जैसे आपने टीक का एक एग्जांपल दिया था, तो तो टीक आपने पर्टिकुलर मणिपुर में ही प्रेडिक्ट किया या जैसे हमारे राजस्थान में भी होता है उदयपुर रीजन, आपने सुना होगा?
आपका राजस्थान से भी सैंपल लिया है सर, पूरे
किस
इंडिया
जगह से
का? यस यस, वी आई शोड एंड आई couldn't share the information. My paper also are there, just published there. So we sampled the all population, even northeast say I got the information from the Assam only. Manipur I shifted here 2 years back only. I have not studied teak after that actually. So I worked in central India basically.
अच्छा, ये सॉफ्टवेयर जो आप बता रहे थे अभी, ये पब्लिक डोमेन में अवेलेबल है फ्रीली?
Yeah, everything is free. Whatever information I'm giving here, everything is available freely. I would like to share one manual also to Dr. Kaushal Singh sir, and he will share in the group so that everyone can read and try this.
Sure.
ठीक है, थैंक यू डॉक्टर वैष्णव।
Yeah, thank you. Sir, Dr. Nasir sir, you are, please unmute yourself.
Okay, so if the participants still have questions, sir, Doctor, if you allow us to share your contacts to the participant, we will,
Yeah, sure.
we will disseminate it to the participants, and
Yes, sir.
whatever the question they have, they can ask you directly later on, sir.
Yeah, that will be better. Yes,
Yes, of
thank
course,
you.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Since we are running out of time, so we will end our session here. I would invite now Dr. Aishwarya Maheshwari for the formal vote of thanks. Please, Dr. Aishwarya Maheshwari, it is.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Yes, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaishnav. It was really a wonderful talk you have given us. You have not only covered the general aspects and the background note of the ENFA, ecological niche factor analysis. We have been using it quite widely in the wildlife and forest management. It is, as you rightly mentioned, it is a multivariate approach, and we do have we have been using it for bear species in the Himachal and Uttarakhand, and for other species in the Indian Himalayan region as well. With that note, we would from the organizing committee side, we would also request you the course material, if you could please provide, as Dr. Nasir and Dr. Kaushal has already said it earlier. We will pass it on to the all the participants, and it would be helpful for them to run the analysis with Maxent and the freewares which are nowadays available. Of course, ArcGIS is a costly software, but it may also be conducted through the QGIS, which is a freeware by the University of Queensland, available free of cost. So we really appreciate your sincere and kind efforts while managing the talk, and also accepting our invitation from the Banda University of Agriculture and Technology. So from the on behalf of the organizing committee and my own behalf, the Banda University of Agriculture and Technology, Banda, extend the sincere gratitude to you for covering the technical as well as applied aspects of the ENFA and providing us the technical knowledge how to run the analysis. And we appreciate your valuable time and efforts compiling the slides and sharing your valuable knowledge with us on the ENFA. So with these words, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm privileged. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, sir, Dr. Vivek Vaishnav, sir, you may leave.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir. Have a good time. Have a good time, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, our previous lecture was really very interesting and very informative. That is why we never realized that we were crossed the time limit. And but of course the lecture was very nice and informative. Our next lecture is the resource person for the next lecture has already joined us. So without any further delay, I would request Dr. Kaushal to please introduce our resource person and start this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nasir. Welcome, sir, in our 20 days training program, and thank you for accepting our invitation, and you are finally present here. And First, I would like to give a brief intro about our participants. Sir, this is our 21 days training program, which is running from 3rd March, and today's, I think, 16th day. And there are different lectures which are covering the different aspects of the natural resource management, which is being conducted here. And the participants are from the different states of the India, and from the most of the participants are from the forestry background, and they are working as an assistant professor in universities and degree colleges and KVKs, as well as some of them from the NGO also. So, sir, this is the a little about the participants, and now, dear participants, our resource person, which is going to be give his informative talk, he is Dr. Vivek Kumar, which is currently working as a scientist in Senior Innovation Officer and Coordinator in Eastern Region of National Innovation Foundation in India. His field of expertise is taxonomy, ethnobotany, and grassroots innovations. His research experiences are in grassroots innovation, ethnobotany, and taxonomy. He has he is a awardee of Dr. S.K. Jain Medal by the Society of Ethnobotanists and from the Lucknow, and he's also a awardee of the FES Fellow of Society of Ethnobotanists by the Society of Ethnobotanists from Lucknow, and he has also a patent on herbal formulation. This is a US patent in herbal formulation, and he has more than 50 research papers published in national and international journal of repute. So this is brief about Dr. Vivek. Now, welcome again, and I would like to request you, sir, to deliver his talk.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr. Kaushal. Thank you, Dr. Nasir, and all participants. I'm listening our earlier lecture also. He's also from Vivek, so it's by coincidence that we have a co-panel back-to-back lectures from Vivek.
Yes,
so, and today what we are going to discuss a topic where we will be highlighting some of the important aspects on the innovations, mainly the grassroots innovations done by the local people who feel the pain of the society and come up with their own ingenuity. In that also, during the process, how National Innovation Foundation is doing the entire process about taking innovations, scouting to commercialization and all, as well as what can be your role, because as Dr. Kaushal mentioned, that you have participants from the 11 states. So innovations are nearby you only. So it may be you have not seen in that aspect or not. So with that note, I'll be sharing a brief presentation, mainly the pictorial presentation, what we have done, because in a half an hour, in a 45 minutes, it cannot be completed, but I'll try to show you the things, how these innovations are nurtured, mainly the grassroots innovations are nurtured by National Innovation Foundation. So I'll just be sharing my presentation. Just a minute. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Is visible? It is visible, sir. But
perfect.
Yeah, perfect, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about the innovations, I'll just share we all know about the Global Innovation Index, and in 2015, India is on 81st position, and at presently it is on 48th position. When we talk about the Innovation Index, which is prepared by the Niti Aayog, if we talk about the states in the 2020, Karnataka has a 40 is on first, and the last is a Bihar. Other union territories and other our hill states and northeast states. So this is just to share the scenario about the innovation in our country as well in our respective states. When we talk about the innovations in general, we mentioned about the innovations can be in a main innovations done by the people, basically the new ideas by them, new methods of the process, or the new products developed by them. When we or the improvement in the existing products or the processes are the innovations. And innovations are not only in the, they are in the different fields also. So innovations can be in the field of cultural, in the institutional, in the education, in the social, in science and technology, and in the processes. So when we talk about the National Innovation Foundation, since it's an autonomous body of Department of Science and Technology, we deals with the innovations done by these grassroots people, mainly with the technological solutions or the innovations related to the science and technology. Brief, when we talk about the grassroots innovations by the knowledge-rich people, knowledge-rich, economically poor people, when we talk about the farmers, artisans, carpenters, mechanics, and all. So, but they are the innovations which are the inclusive innovations and basically a green development, ecological balances. As I mentioned, National Innovation Foundation, which is an autonomous body of Department of Science and Technology, which nurtures the innovations from end-to-end solution, and not from the scouting to value adding, validating, as well as taking into the commercialization, as well as where are the innovations which are important for the society, for the dissemination as well. So for completing this, we used to have these 5 important aspects of the area of the focus. The first is a scouting and documentation, where we are looking for the innovations from this knowledge-rich people or the unsung heroes. Second, whatever the innovations which we are receiving from these grassroots innovators, we try to value add as well as validate. Sometimes when we talk about the mainly on the herbal claims, so we try to validate these claims, whether they are whatever they are saying is correct, or with the help of the laboratories and all. Then we have the intellectual property management, where we file the patents in the name of knowledge holders or the innovators, as this knowledge belongs or the innovations belongs to them. Business development is one of the important aspects, where we take these innovations to the commercial chain, as well as the last is our social dissemination, as well as the information technology and the management. So these are the important aspects which we have to look for and taking any innovations into the next level or taking to the forward. When we talk about the innovations, so far we have a pool of more than 325 ideas and innovations and traditional knowledge practices from all over 625 districts of the country. And we have awarded more than 1,200, approximately 200 innovators in our different national, international, and national competitions. And we filed the patents approximately 200, and as well as patents and applications for these as well as a plant product. We also filed the varieties applications also for the farmers develop varieties. We also supported more than 1,500 projects for the value addition and validation. We have also supported 238 projects under the Micro Venture Innovation Fund. Basically, this is the fund where innovator wants to become an entrepreneur. So we have supported with the support of the SIDBI, wherever if venture fails, then the risk as an If it's success, then he has to repay back. More than 120 technologies have been transferred to the entrepreneurs, to a small, to a medium level, to a big companies. And we have also established 64 community workshops where innovators, if they themselves wants to work on their innovations and they are a little bit hesitant to talk to the other people, so they can go these workshops and work on that. As well as also, we have also formed as a technology business incubator. We have set up, and where we have already 22 grassroots innovations enterprise have been taken under this technology business incubator to take these innovations forward. So these are just a glimpse of where the technology areas we are receiving the innovations from the engineering field, from the agriculture development varieties with the farmers, and then the traditional knowledge practices, outstanding knowledge practices we say about for the veterinary medications, human health medications, nutraceuticals, and so on. Some of the glimpse of these photos. And recently, we have in 2021 we have launched this innovation portal, where so far 1.3 lakh innovations have been already showcased. So the technology, so the students or some researchers can take the live projects and work on the real-time solutions. As I mentioned, our awards are the so outstanding innovations and the traditional knowledge have been felicitated by the highest level of in India by the President of India. And we used to, with the support of Rashtrapati Bhavan, we used to conduct this annual festival of innovation and entrepreneurship. In this is our awardees to the grassroots innovators. And other than that, we have different exhibition, innovation exhibition. There, these exhibition, the president interacts with the grassroots innovators and students. Then we have also provided this other platforms to these grassroots innovators in the international platforms also, like ASEAN Innovation Exchange Program, as well as the BRICS program. So there they can go and discuss about their innovations and also discuss to other innovations from the other participants from other countries as well. You have already seen many of the innovations are supported, and I have inspired. Maybe you have seen this Padman. Padman is a story of a innovator who has come up with a sanitary napkin making machine, and another is a Lakshmi Ashu machine. He has come up made this machine. Yeah, both of them also got the Padma Shri, and also they solved the problems of the society. In the Ashu machine process, maybe in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, there's a Pochampalli sari is there. So making this sari, there's a Ashu process which takes sometimes 1 a day. So this machine solves this problem in a 1.5 hours. You can make the Ashu and the sari can be prepared in 1 hour only. So for inculcating the creativity among the children, we have one of the biggest program, you can say one of the largest program of the world, is the Inspire Awards Manak, in which we are looking for the approximately 10 lakh ideas from 5 lakh schools all over India. And in these 10 lakh ideas, this will be screened with the help of experts. 1 lakh ideas will be given a support of rupees 10,000 for converting their ideas into the working model or first level of prototype. And these will be showcased in the district level competitions all over India. And 10,000 ideas, from 1 lakh to 10,000 ideas will be selected at the state level. And from the state level, 1,000 ideas will be selected for the national level, and best 60 ideas will be taken into the incubation program, as well as showcased in the our Festival of Innovation and other programs. These students will also go to one of the important as Japan's Sakura Innovation Exchange Program also. So this is a funnel where we are looking, and in last year also we received more than 7 lakh ideas. In spite of COVID, we had an overwhelming response. For identifying the innovations in agriculture implements, here we have also identified and partnered with the state departments also. Here in giving an example of a Department of Agriculture, Government of Odisha, we have a competition on agriculture tools named as Mukhyamantri Abhinav Krishi Jantrapati, where we identify the innovations from the farmers, agricultural laborers and artisans. And in the first edition, we received from more than 2,000 applications from all over districts of Odisha. Mainly these innovations are the machinery, land preparations, water lifting devices, plant protection equipment, sowing and planting, and post-harvest management. These are the some, and 90 innovators are awarded at the district level. Every district has 3 awards, and the 14 innovators are felicitated at state level. We could able to file the 15 patent applications among this from this competition, and 30 projects have been given for the further dissemination for the user level testing, and then based on this state level farm machinery and testing center will take these innovations forward so that it can be commercialized through SSI units. This is a glimpse of this photo innovation program. And then, as I mentioned, social dissemination, where many of the technologies will be disseminated with the support of different programs with the state departments, with the different institutes, as well as in NIF as well. So when we talk about the incubation, not all innovations can be taken forward. So for incubating innovations, we try to have a funnel, like we try to have a shortlist or find out the potential technology based on the novelty, their social applicability, their competitive advantage over the existing technologies, cost effectiveness, user friendliness, and any other specialties or originalities are one of the important aspects as well. So the potential increase will be reviewed by the experts, as well as we also do the rigorous literature search, or you can mention as a detailed prior art search, and then these shortlisted ideas will be recommended for the awards and the incubation. As I mentioned, intellectual property right, we in the intellectual property right also in the patent as well as the application, design restriction, whatever the things are applicable to the particular innovation, we try to identify, we try to take it to the next level. Okay. So moving to this. As I mentioned about the value addition and research development, where for development of the prototype or the validation or the value addition, we try to involve innovators, ideators independently, innovators in guidance of an NIF team, institutions, design firms, NIF team in the Fab Lab, fabrication, as well as other institutes. So we try to correlate all the information, we try to club so that a meaningful process can be taken into the forward. As I mentioned, we have already formed a technology incubator, NIF Intric, which is mainly for the inclusion of entrepreneurs during the incubation. And in this, close monitoring and adequate funding can be given. And in this NIF Intric, what we used to have close monitoring, interfacing, networking, market strategy, legal assistance, validation, and validation. So these are the things which we take into the consideration when we take innovations forward. As I mentioned, some of the innovators wants to become an entrepreneur. So we try to give all a brief about all the aspects of the commercialization to the innovators with the different experts involving from the management institutes as well in the liquid. As I mentioned, we have a fabrication lab where innovator wants to become an to take their innovations. They used to come to a lab, they work on their working prototype, and then the next level of the prototype and all. So in this, this is a glimpse of our fabrication lab, which we have set up with the support of MIT. During commercialization, many innovators will always become wants to be an innovator. So they try to innovate many of the things, but not want to entrepreneur. In that case, we try to transfer the technology. This is one of the example of the transfer technology of operated transplanter, which we transferred to the John Deere. And all the benefits have gone back to these innovators. Recently, we have also signed an agreement with the Amazon. So these innovations, grassroots innovations, can be taken into the online platform for the sale and all. So with this, these are the things where I'll just give an example how 2-3 examples how these innovations we have taken from the ideation to the next level. Just sharing one example of a Shalini Kumari, basically a girl of a class 8 of a Bihar. Her grandfather met an accident, and during an accident, he has to walk on the walker, used to walker for the support. But her house is on the first floor, so it's very difficult to walk with the walker. So she came up with an idea: why not a walker with the adjustable leg? So this is an idea which she shared in one of our competition called Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Ignite competition. And she received the awards by the answer on Dr. Kalam. Later then, when we came to know, yes, this is a technology which has a potential. So we started this to doing the literature review and how this technology can be developed and taken forward. So we started with the prior art. So we first started with the prior art on the patent search. What are the patents available on the walkers with a step, which can be used for the as a step, or the walkers for the stairs and all. So many of the and all the prior art search. What are the patents available? What are the things I try to understand what are mentioned in that. What are the things which we have to take into. So as I mentioned, there's a one patent on US patent where we came to know that there's a walker which is a stable and operate economically not compromised. So all these things we did a lot of literature review on the patents. Then we try to summarize these patents. What are the mechanism has been mentioned in these patents, and what are the things available? What are the viewpoints are there? What are the seating provision? What are the things can be taken whenever you are making any innovations to the try to make into the commercial. So all the things have to be taken into consideration. So these are the things, these are the points on which we did the complete prior art search, or you can say a complete review of the patents close to our idea. Then we also do the market benchmarking. What are the products available in the market which are close to this? So we can see there are 3-4 products available. So we did the all market benchmarking, and then we finalized yes, this is the innovation or the idea which is given by Shalini is a novel and can be taken into the has a potential. So this is a first level prototype which we have prepared. A very simple lever mechanism and all. So it can be, but the problem is that in that it is not a full 100% safety. It's a minimum joint. So these are the points which we have taken into the consideration for the developing into the next stage. So it has to be a less in weight, because the people who is already has a discomfort in walking. Appropriate weight distribution to ensure the proper weight balance. And the folding design, workable for the stair rise, because sometimes in our India it's not all stairs at a uniform size, maybe 4 to 7 inch, and aesthetic and ergonomic design. So these are the points which we have taken into the consideration before taking the further prototyping and all. Then we involved the design studios also. There's some design firms also to convert this idea into the next level. So they have proposed some of the designs, and the proposed design has some problems. So we we identify the problems, and then we what are the challenges, how we can address these problems. Like it's a heavy locking mechanism, doesn't work fortunately. And the third prototype, again we made one more prototype. In that prototype, weight was reduced, but user found having less confidence due to its lightweight. So we thought we have to an appropriate weight. And locking mechanism, because locking mechanism has to be working very well, otherwise it's a disable, maybe there's chance of so these are the things which we taken into the consideration. Then we come up to the 4th level of prototyping, where locking mechanism didn't function really, but many times clutch wire all. So we used to add the clutch wires, we used to all the things. Then the problem still continues about the locking mechanism. Then the limited range of the stair height. So we come up to the next level of prototypes to address this problem. So idea converted in a working prototype, but still lacking the reliability in the design. Then the design is not up to that. So we thought, let us involve some more partners into that to come up with the final designs. So we did the design audit, basically with the support of our team as well as other NID also. How this design can be foolproof. So they have suggested some of the things. Yes, you can have this type of designs and all. So based on this designs, we have developed another prototype. So it was very light compared to the previous version. While trial locking mechanism, still the problem is that with the locking mechanism and that's not stable, tumbling. So that's what we again work on that. And then we come up with our team and all the things. We came up to the prototype 6 when we mentioned about, and then I introduced a new locking mechanism. So in that also we came to know the alignment was in disturbing handling, because we have to handle both the hands, and then we come up with another prototype, and then we have given to the user trial and all. Then based on the user trial and our earlier experiences, we come up with the final design, as well as in the meantime we also filed the patents and all that. And with the final design and all, we signed this technology transfer to one of the Kavira solutions, then to the Alimco, as well as a joint hands to the Visco, and now introduced in the market. This is the final design when I mentioned about the final product. Now it is available, even you can step walkers and all, even in Amazon also. And all the benefit have been given, the royalty down payment has been given to this young girl, and which has been used for the further studies and all. So this is a way how we identify initially. So this is not the problem which is the problem has been identified at a grassroots level by a young student, and then we have worked on, and then the final product has come up. So you just a glimpse of, as you say, the journey of a commercialization from an ideation to this, you can say. She has been given many awards, recognitions to the different ways, and she has one of the programs, the innovation, where she has also featured. This is a final design. Sharing to the another example of a rickshaw puller, basically a Dharamveer Kambodji. He has come up with a multi-purpose food processing machine. And initially he was a rickshaw puller, and he in the Delhi, basically while doing that, he used to visit the herbal drug market. And by fortunate or unfortunate, he got an accident, and he has to go back to his home place. And there he started the cultivation of medicinal plants. And while doing that, he realizes that the actual profit is in the products, not in the raw material. So he thought of having a machine, but since he is a very poor farmer, so he could not afford that. So he himself tried to start making a machine. And then he came in contact with a knife, and thus the journey starts. So initially he come up with a small extractor and all, and later on with the fabrication, we started doing the further step of trials and all, and making to the involving the different experts, and come up with this final design where this has a single machine for the multiple operation for the multiple products, is easy to operate, low maintenance, woman-friendly technology, as well as have different capacities. So basically this is a processing machine where you can make the juice, gel, even also extract the essential oil. So this is you can say a one short solution to the many of the things. And not to this, he also give, wherever he is giving, he used to go and give the training programs also to the local peoples also, so that they can use the local bioresources and make the products out of that. These are some photographs of that training programs. Another example, you may heard about this, is a Metikul, innovator from clay potter to a social entrepreneur. He started his journey while selling clay pots in the rural hearts. While saying that, he thought, why not a fridge for the local peoples? So he come up with the Metikul, basically a fridge on a clay pot, and then he started working on that with the support of NIF. He has come up with this clay pan as well as a clay fridge. And so now at present he has a good turnover and all, and he has a range of products available, and you can online also. He's one of the best good social entrepreneur as of now. Now sharing about one of the examples where we have introduced a low chilling variety as a HRM apple variety developed by a farmer, Hariman Sharma ji. So basically it's a grow at a low altitude of 18,000 feet level, require the chilling hours as a ready to harvest in early June, and tolerant to the scab disease. So this variety has been identified by has been made by this Hariman Sharma ji, and with the support of NIF, we have already tested this in the 29 states, and in 5 states, Jammu, Manipur, Lower Himachal, Chhattisgarh, and Telangana. The commercial cultivation has been started by some of the farmers, and over 4 lakh plant saplings we have given in these 29 states with the support of ICR, Imphal, as well as other institutes. We have already done this validation. So this is a variety and in that the variety, whenever we have supplied to all the farmers and everyone, so we have given all the package of the practices. What are the things has to be taken care. And we have also supported Hariman Sharma ji for the nursery building and all. So support has been given to him also for making these saplings and everything. So even to what are the things has to be taken care while developing at the developing stage also. That information we have provided to all our farmers and innovators in the local and regional languages. So package of the practices and everything has been given, how the pit preparations can be done, what are the pit filling, pouring, what are the things have to be taken into the consideration by the farmers. All information has been shared to them before the planting of these apple saplings. And when pruning has to be done, what are the soil mixtures and everything has to be taken care. And every aspect. So we also, wherever we have got, we have also did the nutritional analysis also. So what are the like a moisture content, what is the moisture content available, ash content, crude proteins, carbohydrates, all of the things which we done. And you can see with the support of NIF, Hariman Sharma ji, we could try, and the support of the different departments also, we could reach to this. These are many of the states, this apple plantation. These are some photographs where apple is in fruiting in like a Bolangir, Odisha, Sundargarh, then in Rajasthan. These are temperate climates, you can say, tropical climates in Haryana, in Gujarat, in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. So this is the way which we did. Like another farmers develop variety, DRK, high yielding fine paddy variety with this length spike, fine grains and aroma. So we have already registered his variety and has been disseminated to the many of the states. Paddy variety of DRK. This is the richa variety developed by another farmer, Rajkumar Rathor. This is a perennial variety, red grain variety, harvested pods twice in a year, lesser seed rate, disease tolerant, and we have already registration PP under the PPFRA and dissemination to the 4-5 states. This is a variety of guava developed by the Ram Vilas ji in Uttar Pradesh. So it is not about, as I mentioned, initially I have given the example of innovations based on the machines or then to the developed by the varieties. And now we came as whenever you are interacting with the knowledge holders or the innovators in the villages, in the fields and all, you may also came across the information related to the medicine. By the medicine related to the even into the plant protection or even to the animal health as well as human health. So we try to with this all the aspects we did the review literature, and then we, with the support of the different organizations and all, with the validating partners, we come up with the solutions. So we have collaborations with the CSIR. We have already MOU with the CSIR and ICMR with the different institutions, CROs be involved to take these innovations forward, even in agriculture universities also. So like when I talk about the plant protection, so many of the formulations used by these farmers for the plant protection also. So that has been documented, validated, and has been shared with them. So one of the example is developed by Ishwar Singh Kundu of Kathal, Haryana. He has come up with this formulation for the insect control, mite prevention, growth regulation, and improved soil health. And he is a very good entrepreneur. He is already selling these products into the market. So based on this traditional knowledge practices, we have already make with the as a signed come with the company and other companies and license to this BioNutra for the liver health, bone health, and that's like a nutraceutical products like cookies. And then we have also come with the Shashwat Wellness Greens, so mosquito repellent. So many of the practices have been recorded or documented for the insect control or the mosquito repellent by these knowledge holders. We make the pool of the practices and we made a product and which we have transferred the technology, this startup, as is all benefit to the knowledge holders. So just an example, we did the validation to this. So this is one of the example of one of the product you can mention about, like this is a formulation made by our herb healer for the typhoid, and he got the US patent, I think maybe. And this formulation is still the antibiotic resistance to the many of the thing which are the current medicines are resistant. It is working on that as well. So still the validation stage is in process. We, as I mentioned about the many of the information or many of the practices which we have received related to the animal health also. So we documented, we tried to come up with the solutions which are useful for the society online. So we make a one formulation for the tick control, which we have many of the institutes, and with the support of many institutes, we have already demonstrated this technology in Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, and Haryana. So what I just want to communicate, maybe many of you are taking many of the courses where your students, even yourself also are going into the fields. So you can also look for these knowledge holders or unsung heroes or knowledge rich people, and you can forward to us. So maybe we can take into the next level. Many of the innovations you can look into our database, and you can disseminate in many of the places. You can be involved in the verification and validation, and the possible introduction of the innovative varieties developed by the farmers into the other areas, the multi-location trials and all. So these are things which you can also take care, or you can also look for that. So thank you so much for having me here, and we will be having, that is why I keep a very short, so we can have a good interaction time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. First of all, I apologize for the let you wait, sir, to start your session. But I understand. But I hope you understand. Sometimes the situation comes, we have to wait for. Anyway, coming back to the presentation, sir, it is really a great presentation, sir. Whatever the real life examples you have showed to us, that was all very inspiring, sir. Especially the innovation made by that girl. That was a simple idea. I would say that a simple idea has reached to a next level, or have reached to the great innovation actually. So a simple idea she gave, and it has become now a great innovation. So not only that, sir, you showed so many innovations. You discussed, you shared so many innovations. So I would say that yes, your department is working really very really great. They are taking up the small innovations from the general people of India, and giving it to the helping them to go to the next level. So it is really great. So now I would request to the participants, if you have any question, in fact not you must ask questions to the Vivek sir. It is it will really help us in our research. Whatever idea we have, we just give it to share it with him, and he will suggest us how to bring it to our next level of the research. Question? Hello. Is there any question?
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Ashok, please go on.
Sir, I have two small queries to Dr. Vivek.
Yes, sir.
One is the scope of
Dr. Ashok.
For scientific society in NIF for local peoples as well as university students or university faculties. Can we submit a research project to NIF?
Yeah, I'll revert back to you. This is the thing. What NIF is meant for the grassroots people. The innovations done by the faculties or the university students who are well qualified can be taken into the other organizations like National Research Development Corporation is there, NRDC, then CI, Center for Innovation and Incubation are there, where you can submit your innovations. But your students, whenever you have many of the universities have a RAVE program. So in the RAVE program, the students are used to visit in the villages, in the fields. So during that also they can look for these unsung heroes. They can look for the innovations done by the local people, apart from the exercise given by you. And by doing that, they are serving the society. So what are the innovations identified will be taken to the next level in the name of the knowledge holders or the farmers or innovators, with the we mention of the faculty or the students who has given to us.
सर एक और क्वेश्चन था, जो असल की वैरायटी आपने राजस्थान में ग्रो करी है, वो कौन सी वैरायटी और
ये एक्चुअली
नंबर ऑफ प्लांट्स कितने ग्रो किए और जो फ्रूटिंग था उसको कितने दिनों में आया?
देखिए बेसिकली इसमें 3 साल लगते हैं, और ये हमारा आप मुझे मैं कांटेक्ट आपको शेयर कर दूंगा, तो हमारी जो एग्रीकल्चर टीम है उसके साथ मैं आपको कनेक्ट कर दूंगा। हमने जो राजस्थान में 3-4 जगह पे लगाई है, इवन जयपुर ऑल्सो, तो मैं आपको उससे कनेक्ट कर दूंगा, आप बात कर सकते हैं। दिस इज अ वैरायटी HRMN वैरायटी, डेवलप बाय द आवर फार्मर ऑफ हरिमन शर्मा जी, जिसको हमने बेसिकली पूरा सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड किया, उसको कैसे नर्सरी बनानी है, कैसे वो करना है, कैसे पैकेज करके, बिकॉज दिस इज द चैलेंज वी थॉट इनिशियली कि कैसे हम सारे स्टेट्स में जब वो, क्योंकि इसकी जो ग्राफ्टिंग होती है, जो भी सारी चीजें नर्सरी बनाने के बाद वो जनवरी टू फरवरी के बीच में हम लगाते हैं, तो उससे पहले दिसंबर में उसको पूरा ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कराना है, वो सारी चीजें, तो सारी चीजों का हमने उनको बाकायदा पूरा ट्रेनिंग दी और कैसे वो अपनी चीजों को, कैसे उसकी जो कैपेसिटी है उसको इनहांस किया। वो करने के बाद अभी जैसे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में भी और इवन इन अभी छत्तीसगढ़, अभी रिसेंटली इन बिहार ऑल्सो, this department, this horticulture department has taken initiative, and they have initiated initially for the 7 districts. They have identified 7 districts, and in the 7 districts they have already more than 10,000 saplings have been given to the farmers. So in the same also in the Northeast also, they are trying to have this apple hub with the Northeast Sector Council. More than 50,000 saplings we have given.
अच्छा सर, ये सब्सिडी बेस्ड है या कुछ मतलब?
नो सर, इसमें सब्सिडी बेस्ड तो नहीं है, सब्सिडी बेस्ड नहीं है, बिकॉज़
पर प्लांट की प्राइस क्या होगी इसमें? पर प्लांट की कॉस्ट
देखिए सर, एक्चुअली इनको ट्रांसपोर्टेशन वो मिला के अप्रोक्सीमेटली 150 के आसपास पर प्लांट।
150,
या। So in that also you have to mention if whoever wants to have this apple saplings and all, they have to inform Arbind Sharma ji well in advance, because he started preparing the all the grafting nurseries and all everything from September to October, November, and by December he started sending to the places wherever he has received the orders. So उससे पहले जो सारा वो करना है आपको नर्सरी, वो ऑल द पैकेज एंड प्रैक्टिसेस वी विल बी शेयरिंग। सो आपको जो बेड्स बनाना है, वो जो आपको जो उसका पिट बनाना है, क्या क्या करना है, वो सारी चीजें वी कैन हियर। जस्ट टेकिंग अनदर 2 minutes, in Odisha what we did, we have made a group of WhatsApp group, you can say, and more than 200 farmers have been in coordination with us. And then we have in 16 districts of Odisha, we have shared this planted saplings. And in you say one of the innovator, one of the farmer has a 2,000 saplings he has planted in Balangi district. So but in this process also we are with them. We used to have the programs, we used to have sharing all the practices what we have done in the local language, and what are the things to be taken care, we mentioned to them.
सर आपकी कांटेक्ट डिटेल और ईमेल वगैरह शेयर?
Yeah, it is there. Kaushal,
I will share, Dr. Ashok.
Yeah.
I will share.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, I will share his contact number and email ID, so no issue. Yes, of course, sir. I would say that innovation in research is a need of present scenario, sir. If we don't have innovation, I believe that our project even will never get accepted in any funding agency, sir. So innovation, you told us about the many things which we should have always in the project, like novelty, social application, cost effectiveness, and so many list of the things which we all should always think about and we should always be innovative in our ideas. So any more question from the participant side? If there is no any question, so we will end up this session here. Dr. Vivek sir has managed his time very well, and he finished his presentation in within the time frame that was really great. So now I would request
Dr. Nasir, yeah.
Yes,
sir, I have a one little request, sir. Please suggest how our participants which are working in various fields, mostly in forestry, they can take advantage from NIF, and what is the scope for them, sir?
Yeah, as I mentioned in our last slide also, this is one thing where many of the faculties who are working in, they used to take the field visits and all. During these field visits, if they could identify these programs and all, they could identify some of the practices or some of the innovations with specific to the forestry as well as many other things, because this is the area where we have not looked to the farmers or to the innovators. Like are they doing any practices for the forestry conservation or the forestry or something, like when we used to always give one common example about the sacred groves, but not other than that. Maybe many other programs, or like the farmers who are doing for the plant sections and all. So these are things can be scouted with the help of your students, and then we can think of we can make like interns. Your students can also be interns to our this organization, and we can give them an internship certificate and all. These are the things which can be discussed. But these are changes, we can do all the things. There's no problem with that.
Sir, can they document the various practices which are being practiced by their
yes, that is what I'm saying.
rural community?
Yeah.
So they
and then they can forward to us.
Okay, okay, sir. So I have shared your contact details, sir, in group. If any participant will feel to contact, if
Yeah.
they have any
This is
idea,
and this,
they
the
will.
number which you have shared is my
Yeah.
phone number as well as a WhatsApp number. So you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
discuss anytime if either through phone or WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you, sir.
सर डॉक्टर कौशल ये इसकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी सब प्रेजेंटेशन की हमें अवेल होगी मतलब सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को
Definitely,
Yeah.
I'll share what are the things can be shared. Definitely, I'll a short presentation. I'll be definitely sharing with you.
ओके थैंक यू सर थैंक यू
Thank you very much, sir. So it was really a great talk, sir. And with this, I would like to invite Dr. Arbind Gupta for the formal vote of thanks. Dr. Arbind Gupta, over to you.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Your presentation was really concise, very interesting, and very interactive. And you also covered the recent innovation ideas and technologies which can be used for different research in forestry as well as in agriculture. So with these words, on behalf of the organizing committee and it's my own behalf, I would like to sincere gratitude to you, sir, for giving a nice lecture on grassroots innovation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anytime we can. This is a good opportunity given by you all to interact with this diverse faculties from the different states. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so much.
Namaskar, sir.
Welcome.
You spare your valuable time and you accept our invitation and
Definitely,
give
definitely.
your,
I would love to visit
nice lecture,
your
sir.
campus as well. Definitely.
Yeah, sir, definitely. We will when we will feel we will certainly call you, sir.
Definitely. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy
I'll be
Holi.
signing off. Thank you so
Happy
much.
Holi, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Happy Holi.
Happy Holi to all.
Okay, participants. Now I would request to Dr. Aishwarya Maheshwari, please brief of the session. And if you want to say anything to the participant, please.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Nasir. You and Dr. Kaushal have very nicely managed these two sessions. We look forward to the upcoming session in the second half. And of course, it was very interactive and both these sessions highlighted the importance. One was, of course, on the technical side and the applied aspects of the ENFA. And this one very much, on the innovations and upliftment of the local communities who are working at the upfront towards the conservation. So with these words, you may please announce the upcoming session. And then I believe it would be, holy break for all of us. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Nasir.
Okay, participants, it is time to end this session now. So we will meet again at 2:30. See you at 2:30. Bye-bye.